Hello, one and all, and welcome to the podcast we call the Fantastival with myself, Stephen Nussbaum. In the podcast, I invite my guests to come on, talk to me all about their musical taste, their memories, their experiences, and they get to collect their fantasy festivals, which I have christened Fantastivals. I hope everyone is well after a week off. I hope everyone had a lovely Valentine's Day, a half term, a holiday, wherever you've been. I hope you've had the best week, and a massive thank you to my last guests, who were Ben, Lewis and Josh from the awesome Revivalry, which was a great fun episode. If you've not heard that one, please go back into the archives and give that one a listen. So that was 118. Today is 119, and I'm delighted to introduce rock and roll's favourite magician, described by Liam Gallagher as the coolest magician about. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this week is the one, the only, it's the Magic Mod.
How we doing, mate? All right?
All good, mate. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. I'm chuffed you're getting to join me. I'm looking forward to talking to you all about magic, music and lots more. But I always like to check in with my guests, make sure they're good from a mental health perspective. So Ben, mate, how are you?
I'm great, mate. I am great. Just on tour at the moment with the Brian Jonestown Massacre. So I'm in a basement in Dublin, which I'm trying to probably... while the Wi-Fi is dropping in and out, so you have to, if you can't hear me, just let me know. But it's good. Life's good, man. Life is good. Honestly, like, I'll be honest, probably the happiest I've ever been in my life, mate. And I'm 32 years old, and it's, you know, a few life changes and that, and it's amazing what you can do for yourself. And obviously, being on tour with this band, it is a dream come true. I've been a fan of their music for a long time, and you know, to have Anton offer me to be on the full UK and Ireland tour, mate. Dream come true, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were saying before we start recording, you've done Barrowland, you've been to Birmingham, you've generally gone down really well. So it sounds like a great success to tour.
Aye, mate. Let me tell you, like, a lot of people, it's hard to explain, but like with a band, if it don't go well, no one's going to hear, or no one's going to hear someone shout something because the people are playing guitar or drums and it's too loud, right? With a magician out there, I've been in front of Barrowlands was just under 2,000. We had a Manchester Ritz, what's that old, 1,200, something like that. Each night has been sold out. All these nights have sold out, right? And it's just me on the stage. So if people didn't like me, I think I would find out soon enough, especially in Glasgow at Barrowlands, right? If they didn't like me, I'm sure they would have told me. But I think what people see is I'm just loving what I do. I go out there and do it to the best of my ability. I don't go out there and have a chip, you know, I don't go out there and think I'm going to cure fucking diseases and all that. I go out there in the hope that people are going to feel entertained. You know, I'm not one of these people who's full of myself. Probably a few people think I am, but I'm not. I think I'm really laid back and chilled out. What you see is what you get. The same person you're speaking to is the same person who's on the stage. The only difference is I have a deck of cards in my hand. You know what I mean?
So in terms of the magic then, how did you get into magic? How did that come about? Because there's not many people advocating, or many people within the music scene advocating magic. So how did you get into the magic scene?
That's true. I've not actually seen anyone. There probably is if I looked, but no, there's not. In fact, listen, I don't know anyone who's been on tours with a band. Now, I'm sure there is if I really look at it, right? But off the top of my head, I couldn't name anyone. I know Dynamo did one night with Ian Brown might have been Manchester, or no, it was Wales, Cardiff. And apparently he got slated for it. Now, the difference between me and Dynamo is a very, very talented magician, very talented. But he ain't the sort of person to tell someone to go fuck themselves. Where if someone shouts something at me, I will tell them exactly what to do. And I love it. I love the interaction with the crowd. People say stuff to me, I say something back. It's never disrespectful to me, and I'm never disrespectful back. Although I did ask someone tonight, did the council cut his hair, because it was fucking horrific. But, you know, I think he shouted something at me, so I shouted something back. But, you know, I think I've got a bit of a... You know, people say you are a bit like a rock star up there. Now, this ain't me saying this, because I don't class myself as that. But, you know, I have been labelled as rock and roll's favourite magician. And I think people have say, you know, you've got a bit of a swagger, you've got a bit of an attitude about you. Because, let's have it right, you know, if Paul Daniels got heckled, he would just carry on. But if I get heckled, then I'm like, oh, here we go, the best part of the show. Because I've got so many, mate. The best one that I love to do is when, you know, you're doing your trick and someone shouts something out and you're like, whoa, hang on, mate, listen. I don't come into your place of work and start shouting at you, do I? I just say, can I have a Big Mac, please? And then I fuck off. And that just gets... People love that one, mate. And completely rinses them. They're like, yeah, fuck, he's pretty good. But as I say, you know, like, if I weren't good, I wouldn't be on the tour. I haven't been dropped here by mistake. I've worked so hard, and I'm so... Each night, you know, I think we've only got Belfast tomorrow, Liverpool Saturday, Nottingham Rock City, Leeds and London, right? Like I've played some of these venues before, yes, and I'm so fortunate to do it. You know, I'm so lucky. I don't go out there and sort of not give it my all. I go out there and give. I said to someone earlier, I act as if this is my last show, because you're going to get the best then. If I went out there and went, fuck it, it's another 5-6 shows, it don't matter. No, you have it. You go out there. Like, I'm loving every moment of this, and I don't want it to end. Like, when it ends, I don't know what I'll be like, because I'm having the time of my life, and I think people could see that on the stage. One of the most beautifulest moments I've ever had in my career was in the Barrowlands on, was it Sunday, I think it was Sunday we played Barrowlands, and at the end I said to him, this is a dream come true, because I've always wanted to play there. It's like I've always wanted to play Brixton Academy, right? And I just stood there and just looked at the crowd, and people were just cheering and clapping, and I just stood there and took it all in. And then the lights went down, and I was just sitting still on the stage, looking at the crowd, taking it all in, thinking that's just happened. And then someone put the lights back up, and I was still there, and people were just all clapping and giving me love hearts and that. And I was thinking, fuck, like, wow. And I've bottled all that energy up, and I've bottled that moment up, and I'm going to have that for the rest of my life. No one can ever take that away from me. And that is something I'm super proud of, mate. I'm probably going on one too much now, but I'm very, very proud of myself. And that's something I've never really been in this. Fucking hell, I'm getting a bit emotional talking about it. So how stupid's this? But I think it's because I've worked so hard at this career, mate, and then COVID hit, and there was a lot of uncertain terms to think, right, what's going to happen next? This opportunity the band have given me, I've took. And I was very nervous at the beginning of this tour, and I tell you what, if people ask me how it's going, I think I'm smashing it out of the fucking park every night. Like, I've not had one bad feedback, not one. Now, there's probably some bad feedback out there, but you know what? I've not found it. I'm just loving every moment.
That's great to hear, and like you said, you know, I don't think there's many people mixing the music and magic scene, so it's a testament to you for doing so. So, mate, how did the idea of Magic Mod?
Appreciate that, mate.
How did the idea of Magic Mod come about? Was it the fact you were good at magic into your music and you thought I might have an opportunity here to merge the two and take it forward, or was it something you just built and built?
So, like, my sister who lives in Devon, Kim, she, like, remember her having a party once, and, well, I mean, every time I go over there, it used to be a fucking party, mate, do you know what I mean? But, like, I remember she had this party and she invited one of her friends over who was a golfer or some shit like that, and he thought he could do card tricks. But it's like fucking awful. But I sort of entertained him and went, they're all right. Do you know what I mean? They're pretty cool. And then my sister was like, you do some card tricks. And I was probably about 17, 18. And I did a few card tricks and literally wiped the floor with this geezer. My initial thought weren't to take the piss out of him or to upstage him. No, nothing like that. I just showed tricks that I learned. And my sister said, you should go into magic. People would love to see this. Never thought anything of it. And then her husband, Jeremy, said, why don't you, come up with a name? And he'd written on a bit of paper, the Magic Mod. I thought, that's fucking brilliant. And he come up with a little logo. The thing is, it's so simple, but the best ones always are, mate. You know what I mean? Like, the magnificent Magic Mod and his marvellous acts. Like, what a load of bollocks that is, mate. It's just the Magic Mod. The Magic Mod's magic set. That's it. I always say it's like rock and roll's best magic show, because I remember when I did a little tour last year on my own, I had bands and music there. Some of them were all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd have someone on the bill who I would listen to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's what I like. I think you should always help people, right? And I've always tried to help bands as much as I can, because I've been so grateful to have built a good following up, right? If I could share a band's music or something, and it helps them gain just one follower or two followers or even one new stream, then I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? I don't go around pretending I'm fucking like Alan McGee or some shit like that, like a lot of people do. But I just love to help people out because that's what life's all about. You shouldn't want anything in return. You should just want to help people. And I've gone totally off the subject here, mate. I'm really sorry. It's just what I do.
Mate, don't apologise. This is the perfect platform to go off topic, so that's never a problem.
I sometimes people probably listen to this and go, "Oh, he's chatting a load of bollocks," but it sounds good in my own head. But like, it's always been like bringing music and magic, as I say on stage. It's always been my dream come true because I get to do a gig and then I get to watch a fucking gig. Like, that is mental. Do you know what I mean? I would love to. Well, there's one. Do you know what I would love to do? It's never ever going to happen ever, and I know that because it just wouldn't go down well. But I would love to. I'd love the Who or like Noel Gallagher or something to say, "Would you like to do something with me?" Because that would be a dream come true. I mean, the people I've performed with and worked with, it's been a dream come true anyway. And I'm not getting too big for my boots before people think that. It's not like that at all. It's that would be a dream for me if someone said, like, this is a dream for me now. Like, if you said to me, like 2 years ago, you'll be on the full UK and Ireland tour with the Brian Jonestown Massacre, I'll go, fuck, what drugs have you been taking? Here I am. Like, no one knows what's going to happen. And I think I just give people that entertainment. Like, my act at the moment is, imagine putting someone like Paul Weller, Liam Gallagher, Paul Daniels and Tommy Cooper together, and you'll get the Magic Mod. Put all of them 4 people in a mixer, and out comes the Magic Mod. Like, the act at the moment is got. I'd love to watch my. It sounds so stupid, doesn't it? I would love to watch this act. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it looks fucking brilliant, man. Like, sometimes I go, fuck me, you don't know how lucky you are. I would pay good money to watch this act.
Do you know what?
That's a muck about.
That's a great analogy of 4 people who people all like and respect, and you put them in and out comes the Magic Mod. That's a gig poster, mate. That's the next tour poster. That's a great way of
That's probably I mean, listen, a lot of people, as I said to you before, a lot of people think I am an arrogant fucker, but I'll be honest, I'm not. I'm just confident. And there's people sometimes mistake confidence for arrogance. I'm just a really confident person. Now, I get nervous. Of course I do. Like I said to you before, of course I get nervous. Sometimes I can't even get on the stage because I'm all full of anxiety and nerves. But that's because I care about what I do. I'm so passionate about everything I talk about and everything I do. I don't go onto one because I think I'm a politician or I think I'm chatting a load of shit. I go on one because I've got a lot to say about my craft. You know, you can't go up to someone, like, I can't really talk about a load of, like, how it feels for a musician to go out there and do stuff. No. But what I can do is tell you how it feels for a magician to go out there. And that's why it fucking makes me laugh when I did my first tour with the Libertines. Oh, the first time I ever did music with magic was with Paul Weller. But when I went on a full tour, it was with the Libertines, right? And, like, I got the NME. They did a review of the Margate gig, which weren't my best gig, and I know that. I don't need someone to fucking tell me, right? I learned a lot since that gig, and if I did it again now, I guarantee they wouldn't write nowhere near what they put. But, you know, I found the bloke who done the review. I wasn't bitter about it, but, like, I'm like, listen, mate, you're talking about something that you don't know nothing about. I mean, to be honest, half the people who work for the enemy know fuck all about music anyway. But why are you trying to fucking review a magician, when you don't really know what my whole act is about? Like, he was saying, oh, it was shambolic, when that's the whole point. I want you to think I've got the trick wrong. It's an entertainment. So, I mean, to be honest, as I said to the bloke at the time, I said, the only real reason I ever bought the enemy was if I fucking ran out of toilet paper.
Fair dues. What's the hardest thing about being a magician then?
So, like, tonight's probably a good example. That, like, I mean, it was a great crowd there tonight, real packed crowd, all up for it. But I noticed these 2 guys trying to work out how I did the trick.
Right.
And I just said to them, look, I'm not being funny. I said, lads, just enjoy it. Don't try and think about how it's done. Don't try and think about it now. I said, you don't watch Noel Gallagher or Anton play guitar and go, oh, he's playing a G. He should really be playing a C. You know, oh, actually, he's actually playing it like this. I said, just fucking enjoy it. You know, like, if you're going to spend half the time of my set trying to figure out how I've made milk disappear, how I've made a Coke bottle disappear, and how I've made a fucking pair of shoes appear out of a box, which I could actually, oh no, put cameras on it. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to be thinking so much about how the trick's gone that the moment's gone and you think, fuck, what's he just done now? But, you know, that's it, isn't it? I think the hardest thing, mate, to answer your question, is that people will always try and figure out how it's done. And then they tell you, they go, oh, it's done like this. Like on Twitter, I love it. I do a thing called Magic Mod Monday, which is a great thing. You know, I think it's brilliant that I've come up with that. And I do a trick every Monday. And it just sounds good. Roll off the tongue, you know, Triple M, Magic Mod Monday. And you will often get people say, oh, he's done it like this, done it. And I'm thinking, mate, when you bring out a magic book, I fucking read it. But you're just guessing. Or the thing is, everyone's an expert now on everything because they've got Google in their fucking pocket. Do you know what I mean? When this whole COVID thing came out, oh no, I don't need to get a vaccine. I've got everything I need to know on fucking Google. Oh, this bloke's telling me I shouldn't get vaccinated because of this and that. I'm like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm listening to myself back now. I'm thinking, fucking hell, Ben, you've changed. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, no, honestly, like, people just think they're experts because they've got a phone and Google on it, and it's not the case. You know, like I would never dream of watching a gig and trying to review it because I wouldn't know how to review a gig. Every gig I've been to is fucking brilliant. Have I ever been to a shit one? I went to a Peter Andre gig once. I took my mum there. Peter Andre, I think's a lovely bloke. I've met him once. Mate, he's not my cup of tea, do you know what I mean? But I went because my dad didn't want to go, so I had to go with my mum. And I think I probably tapped my feet on the floor once in one song. It's probably Mysterious Girl. Used to be a bit of an anthem, didn't it, back in the day? But
still an anthem,
you know,
yeah.
I wouldn't go out and get his albums, do you know what I mean? But I would never slate the bloke because he seems like a really nice person, and he's earned millions, more than I'll ever make in my whole life out of his music. So who am I to judge?
So talking about music then, Ben, obviously Peter Andre ain't high on the list of priorities, and I guess you're called the Magic Mod, so it might be a simple question. But what kind of music are you into, Ben?
I like Steps and S Club 7 and a bit of like, I don't know, Metallica and shit like that. No, my actual music range varies, mate, because like before I go on stage, sometimes I listen to a bit of Hans Zimmer. You say that to people and they're like, what the fuck's that? He's written some of the best, in fact, some of people's favourite films have probably got music by Hans Zimmer on. Yeah. You know, like I listen to the Dunkirk soundtrack. Now, this ain't bullshit, it's true. I actually listened to his the song called The Mole, and it's really like, it's just like a ticking of a watch, and then it's like, you hear like sort of like an air raid thing, and it just really psychs me out before I go on the stage. Obviously, my favourite ever band is The Jam, and favourite ever writer is Paul Weller, of course. Then Noel Gallagher. Love the Beatles, love the Kinks, love the Who, love the Specials, love Madness, Small Faces, Lonnie Donegan, hence why my son's called Lonnie, Fax Domino, Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly. You know, I could go on all day listing names. You know, DMAs, the Rifles. You know, I could be here all night. Like I could do one podcast of me for about 2 hours, just listing off a name of people. If you're up for it, you know what I mean? I mean, it might be like a library of people to listen to, but I think that's best. You know, I don't like people who just have one range of music and go, oh, I'm not listening to that. Fuck. You got to listen to everything. I still like a little bit of rock and roll. My dad was a bit like a teddy boy. My mum was a mod. And, you know, like, so I've been brought up with all sorts of music. As I said, Cat Stevens, so many different artists. You know, Lonnie Donegan, when I first listened to him, it took me a while because Skiffle it's not everyone's cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? I remember listening to it for the first time and I thought, okay. I listened to it a second time, all right. Third time, loved it. And I remember I must have been the only kid at about age 13 who had like every single Lonnie Donegan album on CD. So I did. Let me show you. Look. So this was in Norwich the other day. I stumbled across a little vinyl shop. I bought so many vinyls on this tour. The Selector. What one's this? It just says Selector. It doesn't actually say the name of the song. But on the back. Oh, no, sorry. Gangsters by the Specials.
Oh, mate.
I love this song. Squeeze, Up the Junction.
True.
One of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
The Style Council, Speak Like a Child. Fucking £2, mate. Do you know what I mean? Is it actually in there? Yeah, it's in there.
They must have known you were coming. They must have literally saw you coming and gone, right, get this.
You wait for this, mate. You wait for this. Style Council, Ever Changing Moods.
Wow.
Possibly one of my favourite ever Style Council tunes because they do two. So they got the upbeat one, dun, 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 and then they've got the slowed down sort of acoustic version. Both versions are beautiful, but both are sung differently, and such a great tune. And then I've got the Small Faces, Itchy Coop Harp on
Amazing.
Immediate. Yeah, that was, I don't know when that was, but 1967. And then these three, I just had to get it. So we got Lonnie Donegan's Hit Parade.
Lovely.
Right? We got, this one's just called Lonnie Donegan. And then another Lonnie Donegan Hit Parade as well. So there was only 3 Lonnie Donegan like 7 inches in there. And I just bought all 3 of them. I had to. And the bloke looked at me and I was like, I'm a big fan, mate. Hence why I called my son Lonnie. People don't understand the significance of music when you listen to it, and it leaves a big impression on your life. See, I would love to have seen Lonnie Donegan live. My favourite song, Railroad Bill, it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The Ballad of Jesse James is a great song as well. Lost John's brilliant, Dead or Alive. The one everyone does know, though, is My Old Man's a Dustman. Or another one of his biggest ones was Does Your Chewing Gum Lose Its Flavour? Now, people are probably listening to me now going, what the fuck? I tell you now, I recommend listening to it because he was amazing. And he actually influenced a lot of people. Like John Lennon was influenced by Lonnie Donegan, which I never really knew until I read John Lennon's autobiography. And there was a bit in there about it. Lonnie Donegan fucking influenced so many people. And he was just a genius, mate. I'd love to get hold of some lyric sheets or something like it, because I know there's something about, I've saw one in a museum, or no, was it a museum? Or something online, like some auction thing, but it went for big money. But I'd love to have some lyrics by him because he was brilliant.
This is one of the reasons why I love this podcast, because people won't associate you with Lonnie Donegan, and it always shows it shows a different aspect to you as a person, and to see how emotive, because you can tell when you're talking about Lonnie Donegan how much he means to you and how emotive you already are in it.
Let me tell you a funny story here, mate, right? I used to take Lonnie Donegan. This is how much my love for him was, right? Of course, I love my Oasis and the Jam and the Who and the Blur, blah, blah, blah. No, forget Blur. But all that, right? No, Blur are all right. I don't even want to go on to it because a couple of songs I like, but I wouldn't buy the fucking album. I remember taking my Lonnie Donegan CD, Lonnie Donegan's Greatest Hits. I tell you what, mate, this podcast is probably going to have me say the name Lonnie Donegan about 50 times, you know that. But anyway, I took his album into school, and I remember I used to play it, right, and I used to mime along to it as if I was singing it, and people used to love it. So I was always been a bit of a performer. I just love being on a stage, just love it. Not to show off, I just feel that's my comfort zone. It's very weird, but I feel more comfortable in front of a room of, say, 50,000 people than I would with 5,000 people, or 5 people. Yeah. Because that room with 5 people was intimate. When you've got a bigger crowd, I feel like I can get away with more. But I used to take his album into school, and it got to the point where the DT teacher, Mr. Berry, his name was, who was actually from Ireland, he copied me. He said, Ben, I've got a bit of Lonnie Donegan for you. Would you like me to copy a CD for you? I went, all right, mate. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. Don't tell anyone. I don't want you to think that you're my favourite. I said, okay. Anyway, he gave me Lonnie Donegan's Hit Parade. I didn't know how to tell him that I already had it, because he copied it off his CD, off his computer or something. But he actually had a bit of paper in there, and he's handwritten every song. And I was like, I haven't got a bottle to tell him that I've already got this. So I just said, thank you very much. And I think I ended up buying him probably a fucking Lynx gift set or something. I can't remember now. But I thought that was just a lovely touch, that I had that bond with a teacher, which was over Lonnie Donegan, because when I told him that was an artist I really liked, he told me stories of how he saw him and that. And all of a sudden, the teacher I used to fucking hate the geezer. As soon as we had the same sort of passion in music, we were like friends. We used to be like, oh, what's happening, mate? All right. Have you listened to that CD I bought you? No. Oh, yes, brilliant, thank you. That's okay. I'll get you another one. Yeah.
That's the power. That's the power of music. So I hope if Mr. Berry is listening, you haven't shattered his illusions of having that CD.
Listen, mate, I'd be very surprised if he is, because he was knocking on a bit. But what a lovely bloke! I hope he is, because he was a really lovely bloke, and God bless him.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that Lonnie Donegan CD. What was the first CD you bought, Ben? Was there one before it? What was the first CD you got?
Yeah, the Jam. It was the Jam on Modcons. I remember going to Devon, and there was this old CD shop. I mean, of course I've had CDs before I bought this, but the first one that I ever bought with my own pocket money was a CD of the Jam on Modcons, and it was in one of the first CDs that they brought out. It was in its cardboard slot and all that, right? And I thought, fuck, I want to get this on vinyl. And I remember getting it on vinyl, and then I got more and more. But it was All Modcons was the first one. The first vinyl I actually bought, record-wise, was Setting Sun. So that album for me is the soundtrack to my life, maybe. Like the settings, of course. Now we're not going off subject, but of course I've got a big passion for Lonnie Donegan, as we say. But if you were to put a gun to my head right now and say, "What's your best fucking favourite album?" I'll say Setting Suns by The Jam, followed by The Gift by The Jam, followed by The Best of the Beatles. No, I don't know. I've never. It's probably another Jam one, because the thing is with the Jam, and I think why they got such a big following, is you can relate to every song. That everyone can relate to a song from the Jam and say, "Yeah, I've lived that," or "That's me." And what I think was so good is they actually were the voice of the people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they talked about the struggles and, you know, struggle after struggle, day after day, you know, year after year. Like it's that they know what they're talking about. It's not like he's out there and he's Mr. Weller's talking a load of bollocks. He's chatting sense. And I think that's why he's always had such a good following, because he speaks for the people. And I mean, what a band. If I tell you now, if a band if the Jam were about now, they would still be the best band in the world. Like if all of a sudden, when they were out in the 70s, like late 70s, if you were to put them into this day and age now, they would fucking blow up, mate. They would take over the world. Like, there hasn't been a band, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, all right. I'm not talking about your Oasis, and I'm talking after that. I can't name a band that's really blown me away. I love the DMAs and I love the Rifles. Like they're for me, brilliant, two fantastic artists. But in terms of what bands like Oasis and the Jam did and shit like that, like it's fucking ain't one. I mean, everyone's going on about this 1975, and I'm like, what the fuck's that? I know that was when fucking Fulham were in the FA Cup final against West Ham and lost. But who the fuck's this? You know what I mean? I couldn't name one song.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and missing the point, but it doesn't feel to me anyway, personally, that any band. Obviously, I'm 42, so I was 16 when Nebworth happened, and I was at Nebworth, and that felt like a whole culmination of everything, and my mind was blown by it. But it doesn't feel like there's been a Nebworth moment for this generation, although you could argue that Liam Gallagher at Nebworth was this generation's Nebworth moment. Yeah,
but you can't though, can you? Because it's never going to be the same. Like I had tickets, me and the missus, and we ended up giving them away. We done a raffle for Macmillan, I think it was. It was on Twitter anyway, and we done it for a charity, because I didn't want to give the tickets away. If I was giving them away, I wanted to do like that raffle. So I think it was like £1 a ticket or 50p, and we ended up raising more than the tickets were for a great cause. But I just got put off by all the travel, and it was on the same day as the Jubilee, and I don't want to be one of them kids who I went to Nebworth the second coming. If I wanted to go there, I wanted to go to the first one. And let's be honest, mate, MTV filmed it, and I had a better enough seat at my house watching it, watching MTV at Nebworth or whatever it was when they did it, And I mean, good luck to Liam. He's what he's doing is brilliant, and I love him. He's such a lovely bloke. Every time I've seen him, he's a brilliant artist, a lovely person. I'm not knocking him for what he's doing, because there's not many people who could pull 2 nights at Nebworth. I don't care what anyone says. People didn't just go just so they could say, I went to Nebworth. People went because Liam Gallagher is a fucking fantastic artist, and people love to see him, right? I haven't got a problem with that. That's not why I didn't go. It's because I didn't want to wait 3 hours on a train or queue up for a fucking bottle of water for 5 hours or something like I did at Finsbury when he played Finsbury. The queue was ridiculous, and I thought, I'll give it a pass. Do you know what I mean? But I'm sure it was brilliant. The pictures and all that look great. But so I remember seeing the Stone Roses. I can't remember how many times I've seen them, and you can't help but think, it's not the same as it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a different moment. It's a different moment in time.
Of course it is, man. Of course it is.
Different moment in time. That feels a bit of an apt time to ask you, are you into festivals? I know you've done Shine On and you've done Kaleidoscope.
I mean, maybe I'm just an old-fashioned fucker now, but I prefer just going to a gig, like festivals and camping and sleeping in tents and seeing everyone knows someone who's stoned up at like 1 a.m, talks to you, and he knows a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend, and he's got the same shirt as you, and I can't be bothered with all that bollocks anymore, mate. Maybe I'm just boring, I don't know, but yeah, I've probably been to like less than 5 festivals, 6 maybe. I don't know. Like, not for me, mate. I prefer going to a gig and then going to my own bed.
Do you have a favourite gig then, Ben? Is there one? Obviously, you sound like you've gone to loads of gigs. Is there a favourite for you?
Yeah, me and Lonnie the other day went to the fucking, what's his name, Ickle Pickle in the Night Garden, whatever. That was monumental. Yeah. And it was in Belfast as well, and it was sensational. The glow sticks were on a fucking wave. I'm telling you, it was brilliant. But if I'm being serious, my favourite gig is Hyde Park, The Who, Paul Weller, Johnny Marr, and the Rifles. Fuck, that is like a dream lineup. Was it 2013 or 14, something like that? What a gig, mate. And Miles Kane come out and did That's Entertainment with Paul. And I just did fucking, I don't know, got pissed up with everyone else, you know what I mean? Just enjoyed the moment. So at least I remember gigs these days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but that was a great gig. I've definitely got the photos that I was there, I'll tell you that much.
It sounds like that could even be your fantasy festival. Almost, I would imagine. I would hazard a guess at around
listen, hold your horses, son, all right? we will get there. I've got a good little lineup.
We will get there. I'm looking forward to hearing all about the lineup. So like I said at the top of the pod, this is all about our guest. He gets to collate his fantasy festival, so Ben gets to choose any 5 acts who must play one of their studio albums in full, and to end his fantasy festival, Ben gets to choose a song for all of his acts to perform at the end of his fantasy festival. So for any first-time listeners, it's a very simple concept. 5 acts take 5 time slots. I mentioned Ben, Lewis and Josh in my last episode from Revivalry. They created their Rev Fest Fantasy Festival. They had, as their opening act, the Pigeon Detectives. They were followed up in the Super Second slot by the Jack Fletcher Band, who are a new band. In the Midway Madness slot, they went for City Lights, again another new band. In their pre-headline act, they went for the Lottery Winners, and for their headline act, they went for Arctic Monkeys. So a good mixture of established bands and new bands. And for their encore, they had all 5 acts play together, Hey Jude. So lovely fantasy festival, great episode with the boys. Hard to believe they're only 15 and the other one's 14. So good for their age and a great band. I heavily go and recommend them to anyone listening. So Ben, this is your fantasy festival. Before we talk about your 5 acts and any acts that are going to miss out, you got to give your fantasy festival a name, and we've got to give it a venue. So Mr. Magic Mod, what are you going to call your fantasy festival?
Fuck, I ain't even thought about that, mate. I know you messaged me saying, right, have a think, and I just went, yeah, I'll just make it up on the spot. Modfest. Fuck it, why not? Modfest.
Modfest, I like it. We've got Modfest. So we go back to Hyde Park. You can take us to Craven Cottage. Never had a fantasy festival at Craven Cottage. We can go to Barrowlands.
Yeah, great shout. No, I think after the other day, Barrowlands, mate. No, fuck it. Brixton Academy, I love it there. And it's so sad what happened.
I know.
And what they're going through at the moment. But, I mean, I hope and pray that everything will be all right. I'm sure it will. But, I mean, no one should ever go to a gig and expect what happened there. It's not right. And I'm sure it will be sorted. It's nothing I'm not the one to comment about that, but I just hope that it gets sorted out sooner rather than later, because that is a beautiful place to watch a gig.
Yeah, I've seen some very iconic bands there in my youth. They're always had a good gig. So, yeah, hopefully it is able to be a gig venue again and sort itself out. So, Ben, you've already spoken about loads and loads of amazing acts, but you only get to take 5 with you into Modfest. Are there any you want to shout out who aren't getting into Modfest, but who you love and want to give a kudos to?
I just spilled my fucking Coke. Oh, for people who are listening, that's not a fucking bag of it. I've just spilled my Coke to drink. You know what I mean? It's just gone all over the place. Hang on, let me get a towel away there, mate. I mean, we're live, aren't we? We're live.
We are live.
Oh, look, there's a towel here. I took my shoes off. I mean, keep this in. Fucking someone might have a laugh over it.
This is gold. Someone will message going, it wasn't really Coke liquid, was it? And I'll be like, yeah, it was. It wasn't. There's nothing more to it than that.
Fuck's sake. Look, I just hope it hasn't gone all the way through, because I don't want to get a bill. Got my partner on the floor, but no, we're good. I've got it. Right, 5 acts, yeah?
Well, you get to take 5 acts, but any you want to mention who are outside of the 5, if you had more spaces you'd put in?
I just heard your man say about the Pigeon Detectives. I've got so much time for them. Matt, the lead singer, I've had just keep in contact with him quite a bit. Lovely bloke. Used to exchange. He's a Leeds fan, and me and him were going to go to the Fulham Leeds game together. Lovely bloke. And he actually discovered me through the Magic Mod Mondays and that. lovely fella, fucking great front man. I hope you tag him in this because and let him know that I'm saying. Well, I mean, I've told him before, but I mean, he's a great front man. And in fact, when I first went on Soccer AM, they were the band who were playing. I think what song it was they sung. It weren't one of their. I found that I can't.
It must have been a later one outside of the first album because the timelines.
It was. Yeah. It was like I can't remember, but cracking man. I love seeing them. I've seen them so many times, and like the energy levels.
Yeah.
And the way he pings his mic around like Roger Daltrey. Do you know what I mean? He's brilliant, man. So yeah, them. I mean, they might even make it. I don't know who I'm going to have yet. That's the thing with me. So I just go with the flow. Who else? I mean, well, they're going to definitely make it. And do you know what? Right. Paul's daughter, Leah Weller. I've been listening to a lot of her new album. I think it came out last month or month before. Beautiful voice, absolute stunning voice. And Cass Craddock, who is Steve Craddock's young boy, plays the guitar. Brilliant. You know, I've been around. I've known Steve and Paul for a long time now, and I've watched their children grow up. I'm not talking like an old person. I'm just saying, like, I remember Cass when he was a young little kid, right? And to see him grown up now into a lovely gentleman that he is, it's just beautiful. And Leah is a fantastic singer. She really is. And I've seen her perform a few times. Sometimes she comes out and helps Paul. Greenwich, that was a great gig. She come out and did You Do Something to Me, and she knocked it out of the park, the girl. She really did. So I recommend people give her new album a hit up because it's well worth it. So I would love to give her a little mention like I have. Who else, Ben? I mean, as I said, I've got a wide range of music. Can I just smash on with the 5 acts I know?
Yeah, let's get on with the 5. Is there anyone else you want to shout out, new acts that you're listening to? I normally ask people, but because you said you were listening to a whole range of things, I didn't. Any new acts?
I'll be honest, mate. This ain't me for being rude. Like, there's so many that if I didn't say, you know, I'm listening to so many new bands at the moment, and I don't want people to listen and think I'm being fave, you know, giving someone favouritism. Like Regency, top of my head, Dino's new band. Maze, you know, doing great things from a London-based band. You know, I think they've just put out a gig at Dublin Castle, sold it out in a couple of hours.
Yeah, they have playing September. Maze will be. Well, I don't normally give my guest list away, but Maze will be on the podcast very soon.
Oh well, tag them in this because then they can see that I do say good stuff about them. I love the boys. They're a great bunch of boys. They are. Who else? There's so many, mate. Honestly, there really is, and I don't just want people to think that I'm being, you know. Yeah. It's not about that. There is so many that I don't want to just fucking name a couple, which I already have, but. Yeah. Anyway, my top 5, yeah?
All right, let's go 2 o'clock then. Modfest, Brixton Academy. Your first act, get an hour, 2 till 3. Ben, who's going to be your opening act?
The Rifles. Oh, can it be past or present?
Anyone you like, mate. Alive, dead, current, old.
Right. This changes the game a lot now, but it's still going to be the Rifles.
Why? You've already mentioned them, but why opening act? What are they going to bring to the table?
Well, I think that they are the most underrated band. Not in the UK, in the fucking world, mate, because their albums, Joel, genius, like Luke, all of them, and they're great lads, and I've built a friendship with all of them, which I'm proud of, because they are a band I used to listen to. That first album, fuck me, what an album. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone was to bring that out now, Jesus, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Their following's great. They've got such a loyal fan base, a bit like BJM, who I'm with now. Their fan base is so loyal, right? Now, I think they would be the best opening act, and you know, I don't think the tickets, you have to turn up early or you can't come in.
So everyone got to be in early.
Fucking right, mate. And it ain't like one of them things where, like, I saw Liam at Finsbury or somewhere, and they put the DMAs on first, and then a couple of bands who I weren't really too interested in, but they got you all there, so you had to buy the fucking drinks there and that, and I was like, moody, because I wanted to see the DMAs before I saw fucking Liam. So yeah, opening act, the Rifles.
Good shout. First time the Rifles have ever been picked for a fantasy festival, and they get to open Modfest.
Mate, that is a crime that no one's mentioned them before, I tell you.
Been mentioned before on the pod, but never been lucky enough to make it to the 5. But they are in Modfest, playing 2 till 3. We'll take a half-hour break. I think drinks in this one, mate, are just given out, and it's easy to get a drink at Brixton Academy for your fantasy festival.
Mate, people can bring their own.
All right, people can bring their own whilst enjoying the music. Super Second's happening, Ben. They're going to play from 3:30 to 4:30. Who are you going to have?
Australian band, the DMAs. I remember going to a gig or was I performing? No, I was performing a gig in Portsmouth, of all places. And this bloke come up to me and said, have you ever heard the DMAs? I went, no. And he showed me a picture. I went, fucking hell, they look like the sort of people who are going to rob your nan, right? How wrong was I? They are fucking unbelievable. Tommy's voice is just stunning. I can listen to his voice. In fact, they have been my most played band for the last 3 or 4 years now, like on Spotify. I've just been rinsing their albums to the point where Play It Out is probably my most played song, and the new version on their Brixton Live album, I think I play that about 2-3 times a day because the guitar bit at the end gets me right in the mood. So, all right, the DMA's on, playing all of their album, Hill's End, from start to finish.
All right, we can sort that out. So the DMAs are your Super Seconds act. Second time they've been picked, Mr. Magic Mods.
Great band,
they've been picked before. They're going to take your Super Second slot and play their Hill's End album. I'll take a half-hour break, and it's time for Midway Madness, 5 till 6. So you've had the Rifles, you've had the DMAs. Who are you going to have on next, mate?
I would have, right, I'm not even... No, all right, I'll have him later. I would have Small Faces doing a slot.
Small Faces.
You did say past or present.
Yeah, absolutely. Small Faces.
Small Faces.
Okay. Why?
Right.
I guess it might be an obvious answer given the mod title, but why the Small Faces?
Steve Marriott, the voice that, in my opinion, that voice is never going to die. God bless him. He had such a unique voice that you don't have to listen to the music. You can just listen to his voice and go, that's Steve Marriott. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, everyone can relate to that voice. A bit like when you hear Paul Weller singing Noel Gallagher, leaving Liam Gallagher. Their voices, his voice will stand the test of time. His vocals on Tin Soldier, wow, blow me away. But he, I mean, you know, God rest his soul. The guy was a genius, and he was just such a cool guy. You know, I've read his biography and read so much about the Small Faces, and he just seemed like an absolute gent. So I can't not pick him. The second one, the next act's going to be the hardest one, though, because it's a toss-up. All
right, so we've got Small Faces in Midway Madness. That's the third time they've played a fantasy festival, so Small Faces on the bill. So you've got a pre-headline act still to pick, and your headline act. So your pre-headline act get an hour and a half to play from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, and then your headline act are going to play from 8:30 to 11. Now I'm pretty. Do you know what? There's 3 names who I reckon who I think you're going to. Well, there's only 3 names I got, and you only got 2 spaces. So I'm not going to put any words. I'm not going to put any words in your mouth. I'm going to let you tell me who they are, and I'll tell you if you go with who I think you're going to go with. So your pre-headline act, then, Ben. Who are you going to go for?
It's either going to be the Who,
yeah,
which I bet you ain't put down.
Yeah.
You put them down.
Yeah.
Oh, you have.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be the Who, Lonnie Donegan, and then we know who the first one is. So it's not even worth saying.
Do you know what?
It's going to be.
I didn't put Lonnie Donegan. I had Weller, the Who, and I thought you'd chuck in Noel or Oasis.
See, that's why it was hard. But I mean, I bet
exactly.
Noel and Oasis have had so many. I guarantee they've been mentioned so many times. So I'm actually going to say Lonnie Donegan.
All right.
Because, as I said, I mean, I've spoken about him so much. You know, I think more people should give him a listen and then thank me later on Twitter, to be honest with you, because he's brilliant, mate. I still listen to him on the fucking tour bus earlier on. I listened to him. And I'll listen to him in a minute when I've got to pack up all my stuff. Mate, honestly, if I showed you this dressing room for one person doing a fucking magic act, I have so many bags. I've got 1, 2, 3 suitcases. No, 1, 2 suitcases and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags. Do you know what I mean? Fuck.
What is that? Just clothes? I take it. Is that just because you don't know what to wear?
I've got 1 bag, 1 big suitcase which is full up with clothes. Another case which is full up with I come with 4 parkas, 2 jackets, zip-up jacket. I've got about 5 jackets on the bus. And I've got another 1, 2, 3 jackets here. 4 jackets here. I've got too many. That's not even fucking half of it. That's probably not even a dent on my fucking clothes. But very lucky there. Because a lot of brands. I mean, Penguin, they sent me a load of stuff the other day. I like Penguin, so I was very glad when I got home one day to open a box with there's about fucking 25 items.
Amazing.
In it, honestly. Oh, mate.
Amazing.
But back to Modfest. What was it? Yeah, Lonnie Donegan.
So I got Lonnie Donegan.
I think
All right, so Lonnie Donegan, never been picked for a fantasy festival before, Ben, so you're breaking the mould. You've got Lonnie Donegan, he's playing 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So that leaves one slot, your headline act slot, from 8:30 to 11 o'clock. Now, we've spoken loads about Weller and the Jam. You've spoken about The Who as well, but you can only take one, unfortunately.
Now, listen, I've seen The Who play. I would love to have seen The Who with Keith Moon. I think that would have just been sensational. But for me, it's got to be the Jam. It was never going to be anyone else. It had to be the Jam. And they could play for as long as they want. They could do every single fucking album they bring out for all I care. It's just be amazing to see them. I don't want them to reform, though, because it's like I don't want to see Oasis reform, because what's been done is done. Leave the past in the past. Paul's solo stuff. The guy's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I love his solo stuff to the point where on Sunset, I'm actually in one of the songs doing the clapping on Old Father Time, and I'm actually listed in the credits as well. Now, if there is never a fucking question on the chase saying, name a magician who's been involved in a #1 album and it ain't the Magic Mod, then fuck. Know what I mean?
Do you know what? I've got that written down. I was going to mention that at the end because I didn't want to ask you early about it in case we'd done any kind of spoiler, because I figured that obviously Weller would come up in that. But, I mean, that whole experience, right? And I've obviously seen pictures of you and Paul on your website, and obviously if I Google Magic Mod, you and Weller obviously come up quite instantaneous. But I can't imagine there's many people who are as lucky as you are to get to actually A, meet their idol, B, actually go on their idol's album as well, because you are credited on that. Is a credit you have on the album.
I'm on all them albums. I've got a credit saying the Claps Magic Mod. And I remember one day I woke up to a WhatsApp from Paul, and there was a picture. I thought, what's this? I thought it was like lyrics to a song, because you can see like a preview, and I clicked on it, and it was the fucking back of this album before it was printed, and it said it said Claps Magic Mod, and with his words it said underneath, fame at last. And I was like, brilliant. I couldn't care what happened. Like I said, it's the whole cliche, mate, right? But it is. Everything I've done in my life, it's been a dream come true.
Yeah.
To the point, having my son, my beautiful boy, Lonnie, is a dream come true. Meeting my fucking fiancée, Nadine, dream come true. My going on the road with bands, dream come true. My life couldn't be any more perfect, mate. I'm so grateful, very grateful.
And your life's only about to get better, because now you get to name your encore, right? So you got the Jam, who are going to bring back out Lonnie Donegan, the Small Faces, the DMAs, and the Rifles, and they get to play one song to close your fantasy festival. It can be any song, mate. It can be a song by any of those five. It could be a song by The Who, Oasis, anyone. It could be Hans Zimmer, if you want.
Possibly. Well, there'd be no fucking words if it was, mate, I tell you. So this is possibly one of the best songs, and they're all going to play Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones.
Great track. You've not really mentioned the Stones. Are you into the Stones, or just like loosely?
Yeah, of course, man. Listen, we could have done a whole podcast talking about different bands. I actually listened to a bit of Stones earlier. I was going to went into a vinyl shop in Dublin. I was going to buy some Stones albums, but in the end, I just bought a fucking bootleg Liam Gallagher and Transmit. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got loads of Stones. Love the Stones. Brilliant band. Under My Thumbs, probably my favourite Beatles. Probably my favourite Stones track, because it's just the way it starts. But Give Me Shelter, Sympathy of the Devil, them top 3 Stones songs right there.
Great stuff. Right, so Give Me Shelter is your encore, and that ends.
Do you know who else I want to mention, actually, what the toss-up was, and this ain't even bullshit, the toss-up between Lonnie Donegan and The Who, and I was also going to put the Brian Jonestown Massacre in it, because I've been watching them every night. I mean, I've been a fan of their music for a long time now, right? Got a load of their albums. I've been watching them every night now for the last 2 weeks, right? They are one of the best live bands I've seen, and that ain't bullshit, because I'm on tour with them. Hands down, one of the best live acts I've seen. That Anton on stage is the guy is a genius, multi-talented musician.
All right, let's lock in your fantasy festival. So we've got Modfest taking place, Brixton Academy. Opening act, we've got the Rifles. Super Seconds, the DMAs playing Hills End album in full. Midway Madness, Small Faces. Pre-headline act, Lonnie Donegan. Headlining the Jam. And for your shelter, all of your 5 acts are going to play Gimme Shelter. That sounds like an amazing fantasy festival to me. You happy to lock that one in?
Fucking happy with that, man.
Mate, that's really good. So before we end this one then, Ben, what do the next couple of months look like for you? Obviously, you're on tour with the Brian Jonestown Massacre at the moment, having a great time, going down really well. What does the rest of 2023 look like?
fuck knows, mate. I'm one of these people, right, who I just take every day as it comes. So I know I've got some gigs booked in, but I'm just enjoying the moment at the moment, literally. So, no, mate, I've got some good things happening at the moment, but it's all, oh, fuck me. There you go, new phone. Yeah, a lot of things are happening, mate, but it's all like announced nearer the time. Do you know what I'm saying? One of them little fuckers.
And in terms
By the way, on this tour, I've discovered the best drink, right? Chopped up ginger. Now, not too much, right? Sprinkle it in the bottom of the cup, then get a lemon, cut the lemon up, get a load of honey, squirt a little bit of the honey, then get the boiling water, pour the boiling water, then get another little bit of ginger, put that on top, and then some more honey. Fucking unbelievable, mate. I'm telling you. It's like fucking angel piss. It's for the throat as well.
Amazing. So, Ben, if anyone wants to keep on track, and I'm sure most people listening to probably follow you anyway, but if anyone doesn't follow you and wants to keep on track of your stuff, how do people find you? I know you've got a wicked website that I was looking through before. It's really informative, but how do people find you? And just give a plug for your stuff.
That website's fucking brilliant, to be fair. Like, not blowing my own trumpet. Like, the guy who does it, Paul Jackman, he's done really good job with that. And each night I've been sending him stuff on the tour and he's been updating it. But Magic Mod on all socials, really. I mean, my Instagram got hacked up by some geezer who's trying to knock out fucking cryptocurrency and all that. I mean, fair play. If it's real, you should give me a fucking cut of it. But it's lost all my followers. And I've got a new account up that it's hard to get a re-following after because people are a bit sketchy, rightly so. But Taylor Mod on Twitter, and Twitter's probably my obvious, my go-to page. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and on there you can see all clips, right? So you still do Magic Mod Monday when you're not on tour, and you can still see everything that you do and keep up to date.
That's it, man.
Awesome. All right, so that is it. Thanks to everyone who's listened to the 119th episode of the Fantastival Podcast. If you've enjoyed this one, please subscribe and give the podcast a review. You can review it on iTunes, and you can also rate the show on Spotify. And don't forget to recommend this pod to all of your families and your friends. The Magic Mod's on Twitter, so is the podcast. You can find us at Fantastival P, and we are also newly on TikTok as well. Very early days on TikTok.
Oh, so you've gone to the other side, mate. I'm fucking on that as well.
It's my 10-year-old daughter is a legend at it. I'm not so much. Still finding my feet, I'll say.
No, they love it. Do you know what I forgot to say? Are you fucking cold? You got a scarf on, mate?
Oh, mate, I love wearing my scarf. I wear it all the time. I absolutely love my scarf.
I was going to say, you want to put fucking a couple of pounds in the electricity, mate, and put that fucker on. You know what I mean? Love the scarf. Unfortunately, on this pod, can't play music, but I'll get some tracks from Ben, because Ben's spoken so passionately about Lonnie Donegan and tracks like from the DMAs and Rifles, who people may know but may not know. So I'll get some tracks from Ben. We'll get a nice little episode description at the end of this podcast description. So scroll down, listen to it. There'll be a link to Spotify on that one. So Ben, massive thank you, mate, for coming on. I know you're in the middle of a tour. You're in a changing room. How have you found it? Because like you said, these podcasts tend to go a bit deeper, right? So you said like you were getting into pretty emotive shit quite early on. How have you found being on this podcast? How have I found being on the podcast?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it, mate, because I'm just like talking a load of bollocks. So it's like fucking therapy, really, just without paying fucking 50 quid.
Yeah, I'll start charging soon, right?
Steady on, mate.
So I'll be back next week with episode number 120. So please make sure to join me. But until then, stay safe, my Fantastival friends. Please continue to spread the word. And that word is Fantastival. Thanks for listening.